Now, obviously, we're not looking past Providnikov, but when you take a title like king of the welterweight division, there's some people that would like to say that they own that throne. One of them apparently is coming to watch your fight, Juan Marquez. Could you see that fight happening, and what makes you king and not Marquez?
Well, this is the thing. I beat Pacquiao, then Marquez beat Pacquiao. He beat him out. He beat him out in a knockout fashion. But I was one of the first ones to beat him in a long time, and Pacquiao was damaged goods. So going back, they calling me the king now, even though I haven't fought Marquez. It is what it is. I've always wanted to fight Marquez. I've always felt that I was one of the best fighters in the world, if not the best welterweight champion out there. I'm gonna prove Saturday night that Ruslan Providnikov don't belong in the ring with me. And hopefully Marquez will sit there and watch and want to get in the ring with me to prove that he's the king, I've always wanted that match. Will it happen? I don't know. But we shall see.
It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, the audio I just played from you is from a recent interview with Radio Raheem, interviewing Timothy Desert Storm Bradley, and that was his thoughts about a possible Marquez matchup. Now, he was doing this interview to promote his current fight. He fights this Saturday on HBO against Ruslan Providnikov, and Freddie Roach is actually training Providnikov, and that's his opponent. Supposed to be a hard hitter. I haven't done a prediction video yet, but that's good news in the sport of boxing because we have a guest that's going to be in the house at not only Timothy Bradley's upcoming fight, but also Brandon Rios versus Mike Alvarado fight. And that special guest is none other than Juan Manuel Marquez. And he's supposed to be thinking of an opponent or deciding who he wants to face in his next bout. He's went on record numerous times at this point saying that a fifth fight with Pacquiao makes no sense. And I know Bob Arum was trying to have dinner with him and probably coax him into it because it is a big money fight that can be made just because of the whole saga, the up and down, the controversial decisions, Pacquiao getting knocked out. There's definitely money that could be made. I voiced my opinion on the whole matter. I would watch Pacquiao versus Marquez Part 5 just because everything they've showed us to this point has proven to be intriguing. But in all honesty, I wouldn't prefer it. I would much rather see if Marquez is not going to hang him up and retire and he chooses to keep fighting, I'd like to see him fight different people, preferably people I haven't seen him fight 4 other times. So even if he fought Floyd Mayweather, which he says he has no interest in pursuing, I would still rather see that because at the very end of the day, he's more acclimated to the weight than he probably was when he fought Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather was a little bit younger, even though he was off of a 18th month, almost 2-year layoff. So I'd be anxious to see. I still think Floyd Mayweather would beat him, but it'd be interesting to see. Most likely that fight will never happen. Marquez has went on record saying that Floyd has the best, most incredible defense that he's ever faced, and I just don't think he wants to fight Floyd. I don't know if he's content in the fact that he can definitely beat Floyd based on the style of fight. Back to Bradley and Marquez, I would really, really like to see it. And again, Marquez has expressed no interest in fighting Pacquiao for the 5th time. It could be a marketing plan just to get more money when it comes time to negotiate, because I know Bob Arum, his stable is looking kind of dry, and he doesn't really have at Top Rank. There's not that many people who are huge money makers that work with Top Rank. Brandon Rios has a fan base. However, he's never done a pay-per-view, and he's never done on his own card. He's never done anything close to the numbers of other fighters like Golden Boy's fighter Amir Khan or Canelo Alvarez. And then they also Golden Boy worked closely with Floyd Mayweather. So the types of numbers they are doing and currently and the people they have on the roster, I see Golden Boy having more of a stable than Top Rank. Top Rank's biggest claim to fame or biggest people representing them would be, I guess, Pacquiao, Nonito Donaire, Timothy Bradley, and Brandon Rios. And not all of them have even seen pay-per-view. I think Pacquiao and Bradley have been the only ones that have made it to pay-per-view. And I'm not talking about an undercard. I'm talking about headlining a pay-per-view event. And I think Timothy Bradley's only done that one time, and that was with Pacquiao. And as you guys know, Pacquiao got knocked out. So Marquez says he doesn't want to fight Pacquiao. He said he doesn't have an interest. Again, I don't know if that's just a plan to try to get more money when it comes down to the negotiations, or I don't know if he really feels this, but he has stated several times that he has no desire to face Pacquiao for the 5th time because they already achieved the desired result. They did something in that fight that neither fighter had done in the previous 3 fights, and that's win and not let it go to the scorecards. He won decisively the moment he knocked Pacquiao out in the 6th round. So, to me, again, if Marquez is going to keep fighting, I would much rather see him against fresh faces that I haven't seen him fight. Timothy Bradley, I think, would be an excellent fight. Just based on the styles, I would really be intrigued to see, especially if Timothy Bradley looks good against Ruslan Providnikov. I'd really be anxious to see those two fight because it'd be a serious chess match. We know Marquez has the power advantage, but Timothy Bradley is a come forward fighter, but he's also a lot smarter. So I don't think it'd be the same type of fight as Pacquiao, because Pacquiao is aggressive, but he's also reckless aggressive. And I say that because Pacquiao relies so much on athleticism and speed and angles to the point where he is never focused on a defense. He's never had an impressive defense. He's just had a chin and athletic ability. Whereas you have Timothy Bradley, who doesn't have all the power in the world, but he finds a way to win, and he has a much, much better defense. He knows how to slip his punches, and he's just more of a defensive fighter. So I'd be anxious to see how Marquez, and if Marquez can break down somebody who is defensive minded. We all know him and Floyd Mayweather, who is probably, that's hard to gauge because Floyd Mayweather's defense is probably superior to most people who are currently fighting, maybe even of all time. So I'd be anxious to see how he would be able to respond pitted against someone with a good defense, not as good as Floyd Mayweather per se, but a still overall, all-around good fighter. And I'd be anxious to see that more than Pacquiao Part 5. That's just my opinion. If they do make a Marquez versus Rios, I would also be content with that. Rios has been, he's still undefeated, so if he gets past Mike Alvarado, he's been earning his stripes, in my opinion, fighting whoever. He had a little hiccup with the Abril situation. I think Abril should have beat him. But he's been grinding, and he's been working, and whoever you put in front of him, he's been entertaining. He's been entertaining to the fans, and that would be a good pay-per-view. I think the Mexican community, as well as boxing as a whole, would get together to watch that. You got the old dog versus the young dog, Marquez versus Rios, and we would be able to see, will it be the passing of the thrones or the torches, or not? So that's just my opinion on it. First and foremost, I would rather see the Timothy Bradley versus Marquez, again, for a variety of reasons, because it'd be a chess match. Timothy Bradley, if he gets past Providnikov, that makes him still undefeated. Marquez has the momentum from the Pacquiao fight. And one of the most important things is Bradley has already fought. By that time, it would be more than one fight at 147. And he'll already be used to that weight. And we've seen Marquez fight at 147 before. So he'll be more adjusted than Brandon Rios, who's currently fighting at 140. And most likely, to get a payday with Marquez, he would probably have to come up and weight. I don't even know if they would do like a catch weight of 144. And if that's the case, I wouldn't even want to see the fight. I want to see, I don't know. I'm not huge on catch weights. So I wouldn't even want to see Brandon Rios versus Marquez as much if it's a catch weight. I would want to see how he looks at 147. So, and I doubt, I mean, maybe Marquez will come back to 140. I don't know. I don't know if he can make 140 anymore. He's 38 years old. Maybe he can, maybe he can't. But either way, I would rather see both of those fights than the Pacquiao Part 5. Let me know what you want to see. As far as the Pacquiao fans that still are alive, and leave me comments. The only thing that I've really heard on previous videos where I kind of mentioned this subject matter. They're saying Pacquiao gave Marquez an opportunity to avenge his losses. So why doesn't Marquez give Pacquiao a chance to avenge his loss? And I can't even agree with that statement, just because it was a loss on paper, but the boxing community, as well as notable boxing analysts and former boxers, current boxers, they all mentioned that they felt Marquez won some of those fights. People like Roy Jones Jr., Abner Mars, and the list goes on and on. There's a plenty of people. I think Floyd Mayweather even said it, that Marquez should have won some of those fights. So realistically, it's not like Pacquiao, out of the graciousness and the good sportsmanship of his heart, decided, hey, let me give Marquez an opportunity to avenge these losses. Because if that was the case, then why didn't he give Timothy Bradley an opportunity to rematch? Timothy Bradley won the fight and said he wanted to rematch Pacquiao, and they were talking about Timothy Bradley is not a payday. He's not a box office draw, so we don't want to do that. We're going to fight Marquez for the fourth time. You fought Marquez the fourth time and you got knocked out, so maybe you should have fought Timothy Bradley, who probably wouldn't have knocked you out. So again, Pacquiao didn't rematch Marquez just out of the graciousness of his heart, like, oh, hey, let me give this guy. He realistically did it for money, because it was always a box office success, because they give us exciting fights. And more importantly, he did it because there was criticism, there was critiques. There were a lot of people who weren't satisfied with the outcome of the previous fights because they felt that Marquez won. So that's a whole different situation. Marquez left nothing to the imagination. There is no doubt that he beat Pacquiao in the fourth fight because he knocked him out. He did something that neither fight had done. So realistically, in my opinion, Marquez doesn't owe anything to Pacquiao, because this was supposed to be the end-all be-all, and he convincingly beat Pacquiao with nothing that could be disputed. Everything else, all three of the first fights can be disputed. There's some people that think Marquez won. There's some people that think Pacquiao won. There's nobody that I know that thinks Pacquiao won the fourth fight, because he got knocked out. He got knocked unconscious. I heard people say, oh, Pacquiao was winning until he got knocked out, but who can argue that he won the fight? He didn't win if he's on the canvas, and he never got up until the fight was stopped. So that's my point. Again, I'm not a fan of that. I don't think Marquez owes anything to Pacquiao. I think Pacquiao owed it to the boxing community to set it straight. That's why if you watch the interviews leading up to the fourth fight, he was like, oh, I got to get more aggressive, and we're going for the knockout. And like, he was saying all that because he knew he needed to rid the doubts of the people. He was saying, I got to rid the doubts, because he knew there was doubts. Whereas Marquez didn't leave any doubts. There is no doubt. You're knocked out. The end. Point blank. So, in my opinion, Marquez can close that book. He read all the chapters. I mean, it's done. It's a done deal to me. So, that's just my thoughts. Let me know who you want to see Marquez fight. I'm anxious to see Marquez fight, especially off the win of Bernard Hopkins. It's just pushing the envelope further and further for older athletes with the brain, showing what they can and what they can't do, and ways to extend their career. So, I'm anxious to see Marquez. I think he still has some more good fights left, and I would want to see him fight Bradley. If not Bradley, I would want to see him fight Rios, and then Pacquiao would be somewhere towards the bottom of that list of people I want to see him fight next. So let me know what you guys want to see. Who you want to see Timothy Bradley fight? Who do you want to see Marquez fight? Does Pacquiao deserve a rematch? Let me know something. Until next video, it's Ego signing off.